there, welcome to my channel. My name is Sherifat and I'm based in Nova Scotia, Canada. On my YouTube channel, I just share my experiences about life here in Canada. Also, I do a bit of immigration because I'm a regulated Canadian immigration consultant and RCIC. I help you with your visa applications to come to Canada for study, for visit, for permanent residence, to work. I also help you with your school admissions as well to schools in Canada. This video today is a continuation of my vlog about our trip to Cancun, Mexico. So please come with us as we journey together. I hope you enjoy this video because I made these videos with love. If you are yet to see the first one I made or the first two ones I made, please check it out. I think the first one, this is the second one in the series for Cancun, Mexico trip. So please enjoy. In the first video in this series, I talked about tips, to have or to do, things to do really, if you are traveling with kids, particularly young kids. So this is a continuation of, this vlog. So in this video, as you can see, we're on the plane. So like you already can see as well, I traveled with my three beautiful children. It was a mommy and, children trip. Was to be a solo trip before, but last minute I changed my mind, and I'll let you know what led to me changing my mind in the course of this series. So, instead in the line of tips, don't forget to have your kids' tablet along with you, particularly when you're on the flight, so they don't get bored, or somewhere maybe you're doing your layover. We had a layover in Toronto. It was not a direct flight. There's no direct flight from Halifax to Cancun, so we stopped by at Toronto first. And yeah, that's how the trip was very nice. The last time we flew, if I can remember correctly, was last year. Actually, last year, where was it? A domestic, travel. We flew to Winnipeg in Manitoba.
I'm having a nice day on this airplane.
So that's good to know.
Hi, hello guys, welcome back to my mom's channel. Today, I got on flight. We went to Toronto, then Mexico, then on the way back, we're going to Cancun, then we're going back to Halifax. So I got baby bears, pretzels, and I got these crackers. Just gave me crackers and pretzels, and I started some Coke. We left at the closing ceremony for our school. So first, I'm gonna open this. You guys can see the view. The view already finished everything in just like 2 minutes. Your mom and Frida, we're at the back. My mom's chilling. Mommy, say hello. Say hello to the video.
Hello.
And I'm eating my pretzels. You're gonna be there soon. Bye. Bye, guys.
So this is our international travel. Since last time we had the international travel was in 2019 together, if I remember. I also went with my kids that year to the US. That's, if I can remember correctly, like the last trip we've had, as for a foreign trip. Then this one, we had a nice time together. Honestly, I can't say that enough. Even though it was a bit stressful for me, but it was enjoyable. It was memorable. Like I'll do it over and over. Even when I went in 2019 with them to the US, they were even much younger. But this one, they were quite independent. Like they blew my mind. Even up until Fuse, my 4-year-old, like they were quite independent. They made it a bit, less stressful for me. Really. What is about the cloud looking like what?
The clouds look like cotton candy.
At this point, let me mention that if you travel visa free to a number of countries, like if you're a PR here or a Canadian citizen and you travel visa free, ensure that you still have validity on your passport. For example, my baby Fusa had just 6 months left, assuming it was short than that. Some countries don't allow you to travel into them except you have at least 6 months validity on your passport. So ensure that you make sure that your passports, yourself and your family members is still valid. Like sometimes you could forget that. So I thought to keep that in. To the glory of God, we got to Toronto safely, and this was us in the lounge in Toronto. Let me also chip this in that this trip, aside showing you the good time we had in Mexico, it's also to educate you on how you can travel affordably, right? So for one tip I would say, I know it's not easy. I mean, it's a process that you get to that stage, is being able to travel visa free. So either you get yourself a permanent resident of a country that allows you to travel visa free, or you get a passport of that country. So being a permanent resident of Canada allows you to travel visa free to Mexico, for example. Likewise, if you're a passport holder of Canada, you can travel visa free. That's number one tip. Number two is have a card that you're able to accumulate travel points. The number of credit card or bank cards generally that allow you to get points at towards travel. I did this on this trip and my points was enough to cater for two people on this trip. So we didn't spend money on visa for starters. We spent like half of the money we to spend on flights because I had travel points that took care of two people's travel costs, if you get what I mean. Okay, and the third one will be to get good travel deals for hotels and for tours. Like in Mexico, I got a very, very good deal, for travel. I'll get to that. Um, Let me go back to travel points. Also, have a card that allows you to have access to lounges. Like we didn't have to pay money to be in the lounge in Toronto because one of my bank cards allows me to be in these lounges 4 times in a year. So that's that. So these are ways you can save on costs for travel, and travel affordably. We had a number of hours to stay in Toronto for a number of hours for a layover. So thankful that we had access to the lounge. We were able to stay there for about 2 or 3 hours, I think 3 hours, before we now went to take our flight. So we had a nice time. There was food, like it was a buffet style. We had food, we had like we just refreshed really from the trip before we now went to board our flights. Though we still stayed a couple of I think another 1 or 2 hours in the airport because the lounges closes by 1 p.m., 1 a.m. rather. So we still had a couple of, let's say, 2 hours or thereabout to still stay. But the 3 hours we stayed in the lounge was something, when we ate, the kids even, lay down a bit. It was more conducive than the airport. Like in Toronto, the chairs are not even conducive enough to sleep. Like you cannot even sleep on the chairs in Toronto airport. So the lounge, the kids had like I think an hour or two sleep. So you see the essence of being in the lounge. It was just a very good thing for us. That once the lounge is closes by 1 a.m. So you had to leave. So once we left, stayed in the hotel, sorry, in the airport rather, and we waited for our flights, to Cancun, and it was just a good experience, but it was a bit tiring. I'll admit. Like look at my face here. Even Fiza was sleeping, I had to carry her, and she weighs quite a bit. So carrying her was work for me. Nabila slept a bit, and then they woke up. They played with some gadgets in the airport, and it was okay. Our travel was not so bad. I remember that we did a dance challenge in this airport. Those transition videos you see on like on TikTok or Instagram, where you cover your face in the airport and then you open you cover the lens of your camera in the airport. Then when you get to Mexico, your destination, you now open it up. We did those videos here. If you follow me on Instagram, you'd have seen that video. So this was us, heading to the plane to Cancun. We're refreshed at this point because we had eaten, we had slept, we were very refreshed. And here back. So let me just you guys about, the girls. They were, they had like a plan on who sits next to me. The first plane we took, visa was next to me. This one, it was Nabila. you know.
What did you want to? I wanted to 18. You won. No, I did 18.
And to the glory of God, we landed in Cancun safely. It was quite a trip. At this point, we are all tired, but I mean, we are thankful that we are close to our destination. Yeah, so we are now in Mexico. Are you excited now? Huh? Are you excited? Are you excited? Yeah, Mexico. Are you excited, Navina?
Welcome to Cancun. Local time is 11:04. As we taxi to the gate, please remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened and also around bags.
And once we landed, we went through immigrations and we had all of that to be able to get an entrance into Mexico. It was pretty much smooth and fast. I mean, with a Canadian passport, it was quite fast, and we went in. And regarding the thing I was saying about getting affordable, travel plan or like package or deal really. The thing I did was get a deal that covered our hotel, tours, and then also airport pickup. The hotel also offered us airport pickup, which was good. In my entire life, I've never seen the much taxis I saw in Mexico. Like they were like a million and one taxis outside, and they had told us that don't answer anybody. If they call you, try to market to you. Just wait for us. We'll have your name. But they had an abused name. Funny enough, we'll have your name on like a paper like that. Look out for us. We'll be in this uniform. We'll be in this color and all of that. So I remember that, and I worked out and I looked out for them, and it was quite easy to locate them. But there were many taxis, like private, like different kind of taxis. And I hear that if you're not careful, like you pay like maybe times 10 of what you are supposed to pay. Once they see that you're a foreigner, like you won't even know what to bargain because you don't live there, right? Anyway, so I'm thankful that the hotel had that as part of our package. We got picked up, and I just wanted like we were tired. See how sweaty I was. Mexico is hot, like capital letter HOT. Like those 5 days we burned, even with sunscreen. Our skin was literally peeling. I'm not even exaggerating. It was that bad. Like we had fun, but we came back with burnt skin. And I'll take some blame because sometimes some days I forget to use sunscreen, but I'm not very like familiar with using constant every second sunscreen. But even the fact that I still use, we still got burnt. It was bad. It was really really hot. I'm not sure how they cope in that country because what very hot. And another thing that we also mentioned about Mexico is that they rely heavily on tip. Like if you buy this, you have to tip. If you do this service, it's tip. If you do that, tip. Like tip is like a big thing there. And let me also mention that Cancun is a tourist city, which makes it expensive because a lot of their services is surround like it's tied to tourism really. They have like hotels like on the streets you find maybe like 1 million hotels. I'm not even exaggerating. Okay, maybe I am, but you get my drift. Like it's like heavily, it's really really big on tourism. You see the tip box that man has, that's the taxi. Even though it was the airport shuttle, they're telling us you have to tip us, tip everywhere. She had tip. It was about I think 30-40 minutes drive to the place. Said they were like doing some construction around some area that otherwise is about maybe 20 minutes or thereabouts. We're talking about 30-40 minutes to get to the hotel, and I was so happy to get to the hotel because we were so tired. So the drive gives us an opportunity to also see Cancun. The taxi driver was also kind, telling us some things about Cancun, about Mexico in general. It was really cool, just touring, just seeing the city, like it was. Cancun is a place I've heard about for many years, like many years. Let me even just you something. There's something we used to call it's a multi-level marketing company. It's called GNLD. I used to be a part of GNLD, and when I went, there was this trip. There was this trip they had. So the marketing thing, they would take you on a trip every year, and that year it was Cancun, Mexico. So we did not hear anything else than Cancun, Mexico. Cancun, Mexico. I'm talking about maybe like 15 or 20 years ago. I was not even married or even a mother then, you know. So I've heard about Cancun. So it's been on my bucket list since that time. So Alhamdulillah, this is a dream come true for me. I'll not even try and minimize it or try and trivialize it. Going to Cancun meant a lot to me. I'll not even deny it. Alhamdulillah. And we got to the hotel. So that thing you see on my hand is the band. So you have to wear that for the duration of your time in the hotel. For the door, that's the thing that used to open the door for the restaurant. That's what you used to eat. Because an all-inclusive package. And in case you are going to Cancun or Mexico, really anywhere in Mexico, and here you get an all-inclusive package, it will save you a lot of money and stress. Honestly, remember I told you that this package was a deal, and that's what even made me take my kids with me. So let me break it down for you. So I got a deal that included hotel in Mexico for 5 days and 4 nights. It included the hotel accommodation and food for these 5 days for 4 people. Another one that blew my mind the most was that we got another deal to stay in an hotel in 4 different places. We are allowed to choose out of those 4 places. I chose Orlando because I want to take my kids to a particular place in Orlando. They had Cuba, they had Las Vegas. No, they had like 4 places, but I chose Orlando because that's like where I want to take my kids to next year, inshallah. So we have hotel reserved for that. We are going to travel visa free, and by God's grace, I'm saving. I'm going to get points for travel. So by the time we go to Orlando, we'll be travel like almost free to Orlando, right? So you see why, and if I didn't take my kids on this trip, they say I can't take them to the Orlando one. So they had to come with me on this trip to Mexico before they are eligible for the next year one. That was what led me to bringing my kids because the money. So what happened was I was like, oh, I'm coming alone. Can you please give me a discount for this? What you're charging for 4? They're like, well, it's a family package. Whether you come alone or you don't come alone, it is this amount. I won't tell you the amount. I mean, it's not everything I want to share with you on here, but it's really, really affordable. That's my point. So, like, if I don't go with these children, it's like a loss. So whether I go alone or I go with them, I'm paying the same amount. That was what led me to taking them. Of course, it cost me flights for them. Like I said, I already got points for 2 people, so it was 2 people I paid for. And honestly, I didn't mind paying for those 2 because what we gained on this trip is more than how much I paid for their flights. If I was in Halifax, I broke it down to how much we spent on like in those 5 days. We will spend up to that amount because groceries in Halifax now is in Canada is expensive. Cost of living has tripled, if not more. So this deal was just everything and more. Like I'm so grateful like we got this deal. Like I can't even say that enough. Anyway, this is the room tour. This is the room we got. I loved it. It was like an apartment, not even like a hotel room. It had like a living room, a bedroom, a kitchenette, a bathroom. There's pool in the hotel. This thing was as in I got the deal. When I was paying for this, I'm like, I hope this is not a scam. Like until I got there before I could even truly believe it. Even though they gave me documents that they signed that is real and all of that. Until I got to Mexico and saw that for myself that indeed this deal was real, and we even got certificate for our next trip for the Orlando one. Like I can't. So if you be aim talk about Mexico was everything was an experience. This is what I'm talking about, and I'm not even I'm not even showing you what we got to do. Also, this did included tours, not only the accommodation and the food. It included tours as well. Like I'm not sure how they are making their profits. I don't know, but yeah, I really don't know how they are making their profits. Anyway, this was the first day. We just did like I just like a room tour to show you the room and see. Like we had a wonderful time here. Another good thing about this deal is this hotel. They are like a four-member hotel. There are four hotels in this like group of hotels. We stayed in this one, and the good part is that we had access to the other to two other ones. Though we had to sleep here, that's where our accommodation was. We had access to the amenities and the restaurants in the other two hotel. I'll show you that as well. Okay, we are going to, it's our first day in Mexico, Cancun. So we are going to have lunch and then we'll go swim in the hotel swimming pool. Let's go, guys. Yeah, I'm so hungry. Let's go and eat. I feel so refreshed with this bath. First day in Mexico, in Cancun. We're going to have some lunch and go to the swimming pool. Let's go, let's go. I'm so hungry. This was my first time, having a trip that was an all-inclusive package in terms of having the hotel accommodation and the food. And I think that I've been slacking all this while. I remember how much I spent on food alone in Bermuda, and it was even during Ramadan, and I didn't even really eat like that. So imagine how much I'd have spent if it was not even Ramadan. But this one was food inclusive, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, drinks, like everything. Again, I wonder how much they make profit. Like, I wonder how they make profit because this deal was just too good. Like, it was just too good. Anyway, this was their restaurant. We went to have lunch. We got to Cancun around 11, past 11. Before we came out, we got to the taxi and all of that. It was maybe around 12. We got to the hotel, say around 12:31 ish, and then we went for lunch afterwards. It was us having our drinks. The kids enjoyed it. That's tacos. Abby was telling me that once I told them that we are going to Mexico, it was like, yes, you're going to have tacos. I didn't even think about that. Said yes, we'll have tacos. And let me mention that my kids really, really enjoyed the meal. I had concerns about, if they will enjoy it. It's our first time going to Mexico, but they did enjoy it. My kids don't like to eat as much, so it felt really good seeing them eat, particularly Nabil. Hey, Nabil tried every dish, like he ate so well. I used to sit down, Nabil, it's as if these Mexican dishes were made for you, but you enjoyed it. Likewise, the girls too, and even me, I'm quite very choosy with food. I'm not very I don't explore a lot when it comes to food. But so thankfully, the food there was like very good. I could eat it. We were there for 5 days and we ate, pretty much a lot of of their meals. And we had variety as well. It was not all Mexican, there were days they had Italian dishes, there were days they had like, intercontinental dishes. Like I said, we had access to two other hotels. Though we were only able to sleep here, but we had access to other hotels in the hotel group, so we could go to the restaurant, go to different restaurants, and they had those shuttle bus that took us around. Like this day was just so good, honestly. One of the things my kids love the most about this hotel was their swimming pool. On some days you swim like twice in a day. They loved it that much. Very small, quiet hotel. I also enjoyed it. I also love, seeing my kids bond. My kids do well together, pretty much. But sometimes with kids, like some fighting, quarreling. But on this trip, they were good together. They bonded so well. It was a very beautiful sight to watch. They were there for each other. We were there for each other, really. Um, on this trip. So I just went out of the building to see like how the vicinity is and all of that. So this particular hotel group, there are four of them, and we had access to three. So this one where we stayed at and two others. We were only able to sleep in this particular one anyway, but we were able to access the restaurant, the pool, and some other facilities in the other two hotels, which was good. I'll show you all of that later in the series. But this was our first day, and we had fun, just relaxing, after the trip.
Let me carry you. Never wait, don't do anything. I'm trying to get my hand out. Okay, get your hand out. Lisa, hold on tight, hold on tight. Guys, be careful. Hold on very tight. 3, 2, 1. What I'm used to. My hair's floating. Your hair's floating? Yeah. Can you go like this? Can I show you? Is that okay? Pushing me down. Get out, my love.
And we felt very relaxed after the swimming. We then went back to our room. And the good thing about this room again is that it has two TVs. So the kids like shared it. Like on the day we came, Nabila and Fiza used the bedroom, the TV in the bedroom, while Nabil was in the living room. And then we went for dinner as well. We had so the afternoon it was an order, like they had a menu you choose from. Then in the night, I think it was a buffet. So they always like alternatives. On some days you order, they give you like a menu, and some days it's a buffet. See how beautiful the view is at night. Swimming. Even Nabila and Lo, Then dinner was also good. We enjoyed it. This trip, it just felt good, not having to cook, not having to think of what to eat, just having options. It felt really good, honestly. Like, I miss it. Only if life was like this, that you don't have to do anything, people and everything is at your service, but it's not like that. I'm grateful that, I'm able to do this, once in a while, Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen. And then once we had dinner, we then went back to our room. No, we didn't go to the room, we just stayed by around the pool area just to relax a bit more, because the next day we planned activities. So the next video will be about that. The first day. So what I like to do now is just to relax. Like, even though you're on vacation, you don't have to like tours every single day, because I just think like, it burns one out. So just take it a day at a time. So the first day I planned I won't do anything. That's why I always look out for hotels that have swimming pool. So when with the swimming pool, you can just relax on the first day, which was what we did, and then we set out the next day to tour Cancun.
Oh, when I booked this day, this does not look as like it didn't look as fine as this. It looks like, and even the reviews, and people were saying it's an old place, and all that. But it looks decent. What do you think? Yeah, looks pretty decent. Looks pretty decent. Man, I'm tired. I'm jealous. I have an early morning tomorrow. I'm so tired. Like, you want to go up? Me too. Can you carry me to the club?
Sure. I've come to the end of this video. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. Look out for more videos in this series. The next one will be what we did the next day. You'd love to see that. Look out for it. Take care. Bye.